Did you know there's actually a rule? It's called the 80-20 principle. And this rule is very interesting because it states that you can only put in 20% of the effort and yet get 80% of the results. And Richard Koch actually made a book on it. It's called the 80-20 principle. And so 80% of the results actually only come from 20% of the efforts. So essentially, what you end up doing is achieving more for less. But why do I really like this book and what did I really gain away from it? Is this rule you can apply to anything, whether it's your business or your relationships or your health. But what I really like, and you can apply to any area of your life, which is amazing. You can get more results with less work and therefore become much more efficient. And so this rule actually applies in many areas of life. For example, did you notice that you wear 20% of your clothes 80% of your time? Or did you notice that 20% of the roads have 80% of traffic? And so this rule is called the 80-20 principle. So essentially, you only put in 20% of the work and yet you get 80% of the results. And for me, this rule really is applies when it comes to reading. So this rule can apply in any area of your life, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, or whether it's your health. So for relationships, for example, 20% of the people, and then you spend 80% of the time in the relationships with these 20% of the people. Um, 20% married people, 80% divorces. This rule applies throughout many areas of life. So the question is, where can you apply this rule so that you can put in less work and yet get more results, more outcomes from that lower amount of effort? Because if you structure your day towards the 80-20 principle, you can waste less energy and yet get a lot of results. So did you notice that some books that you read um, actually, instead of reading the whole book, you can probably get 80% of the results by only applying 20% of what that book actually teaches you, which means that if you apply the other 80%, you're only going to get the remaining 20% of the results, which is completely useless. So there's no point of doing that. So therefore, all we need to put in is 20%. And therefore, just reading like the what interests you and being creative, like the front page of the book, the back cover, usually has the main ideas. Or if there's summary points, or even just watching a podcast from that book, and you can get the main ideas and then apply. But don't apply like every single reading by the line because that takes time, especially if you want to be an optimizer and read 100 books a week, for example. So what I really recommend in this case is, and still have time to do other things throughout the day, is simply to find 20% of the information in the book that you find the most valuable and apply it to get 80% of the results. This can be something that the author repeats many times in the book and things that he recommends for the general audience. He sometimes may say, well, apply this strategy, but it's only for a certain population, or it's kind of it's not the most important thing. It's like an extra thing that you can do, and so find the key pieces, and if you're able to do the same thing throughout many books that you read, throughout many literature, if you can find the 20% that can give you the 80% of the results, well, you're going to optimize yourself a lot. And I think that's such an important message that I want to leave out today. We don't have time to read all these books, but yet you can still get so useful information, especially if you combine ancient wisdom with modern science. You can actually get a lot of distinctions and a lot of very useful information, but you have to actually apply them. And to apply them, you have to be passionate about doing them. So that's one. You have to enjoy whatever you're doing, right? And then do it more often. But also, right, through goal setting, etc. But also, you have to find the 20% of the information that you gain, usually through books or podcasts or any other source, lectures, right? And apply those. So give it a try. And this book actually teaches you, and again, you can find 20% here and apply 80%, but this can apply to any book that you want. So choose a book, can be any book, and really what I want you to do, and actually you can leave this in the comment section below, is actually tell me what are the 20% that you took from that book, and how that will give you 80% of the results.